Yes, children, let us continue with the explanation of the lesson. In the previous video, we saw how the narrator, he gets nervous after entering inside the bank, and he, instead of seeking help from a clerk or from the help desk, he approaches the manager. Let us see what happens next. Now, after he goes to the manager, and then he fetches him towards the manager. The manager, who was a grave, calm man, and this narrator, he had held his $56 amount clutched and crumpled ball in his pocket, and then he says he needs to meet him alone. The manager, again, he gets confused why he wanted to meet the manager alone. Let us see what happens. Certainly, said the accountant and fetched him. The manager was a grave, calm man. I held my $56 clutched in a crumpled ball in my pocket. Are you the manager? I said. God knows, I didn't doubt it. Yes, he said. Can I see you? I asked. Alone. I didn't want to say alone again, but without it, the thing seemed self evident. The manager looked at me in some alarm. He felt that I had an awful secret to reveal. Come in here, he said, and led the way to the private room. He turned the key. We are safe from interruption here, he said. Sit down. We both sat down and looked at one another. I found no voice to speak. You are one of Pinkerton's men, I presume, he said. Now, children, just over here, the manager, he got confused, and he presumed that he had the narrator had come from Pinkerton's men. Now, who are Pinkerton's men? We are going to see. Both of them, they go in the room, as we saw and read that nobody could interrupt them or disturb them when they are talking with amongst themselves. He had gathered from my mysterious manner that I was a detective. He thought that he was a detective. Over here also, the narrator, he knew what he was thinking, and it made the narrator more nervous. It made him, the situation got worsened. Then the narrator, after questioning that was he from the Pinkertons, narrators told the manager that he was not from the Pinkertons. Then he seemingly implied that he came from a rival agency, he thought. Then, to tell the truth, he went on, and he had been prompted to lie about it. I am not a detective at all, means this, the narrator told that he was not a detective at all, and he had come there to open an account. Then he intended to keep all his money in their bank. The manager looked relieved. The manager immediately he got relieved, but still serious. He concluded now that he was a son of Baron Rothschild or a young Gould. The manager thought that this man, he had to deposit a large amount in his bank, and that's why he thought, is it fairly asked, fairly large, was the amount fairly large? Then this narrator, he immediately told him that he proposed to deposit $56 at that time and $50 a month regularly. The manager, after listening to this, he immediately got up and opened the door. He then called the accountant, Mr. Montgomery. He then said unkindly loud, "This gentleman," he told that this gentleman means the narrator, he wished to open an account and will be depositing only $56. Then the manager rose, a big iron door stood open at the side of the room. Then the narrator, after wishing good morning and stepped into the safe, he came out and the manager said coldly and showed the narrator the other way. Then the narrator went up to the accountant's wicket and poked the ball of money. He just took out the ball of money. Children, I would like to even tell you who is Baron Roosevelt, the wealthiest, most influential man of that time. Now, just imagine the amount the narrator had carried and he had put everything on the table. Then he went up to the accountant's wicket and poked the ball of money at him with a quick, convulsive movement as if he was going doing a conjuring trick. So this narrator, he became so confused and he became so nervous that he started committing one mistake after the other and nobody was helping him and calming him. Nobody was just supporting him, making the narrator relax, feeling him comfortable and asking him small questions. Here he said, "Deposit it." The tone of the words seemed to mean like, "Let us do the painful thing while the fit is on us." Now over here they wanted to wished to deposit the money. He took the money and gave it to the other clerk. He made the narrator write the sum on a slip. The clerk made the narrator write the sum on a slip and sign his name on the book. Then he no longer knew what the narrator no longer knew what was going on. The bank swam before his eyes. Then, "Is it deposited?" he asked. Who? The narrator. Immediately then certain things were done. Then his idea was to draw out only $6 out of the present use. Now over here the narrator, he had deposited $56. Out of those $56, the narrator wished to withdraw uh, only $6. Someone gave the narrator a checkbook through a wicket, through the door, and the other person began telling him, that is advising him how to write it out. The people in the bank had the impression that he was an invalid millionaire. He wrote something on the check and then just thrusted it at the clerk. The clerk looked at the check and he was shocked. Why? We will see in the next video.